We're Nishant and Carlos here to talk to you about NDN Drop. Apple's AirDrop is a useful feature for sharing files across a wireless medium between Apple devices. Inspired by this, we sought to create a one-hop file sharing system that can share files between any devices. Our vision was a user, say Alice, installs NDN Drop on all her devices, such as her phone, her laptop, and her desktop. Then on each device, she creates a special file sharing folder where she can put local files to be shared. Then from any device, she can list the files of another device's folder and download them. This would all be peer-to-peer over NDN. We wanted to create a system to share files wirelessly without needing access to the greater internet, such as using a cloud intermediary. One key feature we identified was security. The user's file should remain private, which is especially important over a broadcast medium. Also, we don't know which devices will participate ahead of time. Some of Alice's devices are mobile and may go out of range, and she may acquire new ones over time. Devices may not always be on or in range, so the user needs to know which ones are currently available so they can list their files. Each node maintains a neighbor list using a soft-state protocol. Current neighbors are listed as well as the time they were last heard from. Each node periodically sends out discover interest to get its neighbors' neighbor lists, so it can learn of new neighbors. It updates its own neighbor list as it hears these interests and evicts idle neighbors.
Consumer needs to know which files are available to download, so they can send an interest packet and receive a list of downloadable files. In order to achieve this, the producer has this NDN drop directory, which has all the shareable files that it hosts. However, when publishing this directory, it also maintains this list.txt file, which contains the names of all files available within that directory. So then the consumer could send that interest packet and for the list.txt specifically, and then retrieve all the names of the files available. We're able to do this because NDN has the ability to make a naming schema, so each consumer can expect a list.txt on the other side, on the producer side. And we created a bash helper script to watch that directory, the NDN drop directory, and change list.txt if there's any modifications, additions, or removals. Of course, NDN drop needs to have the ability to download files. We built upon an NDN tools to download files. However, we modified it so instead of printing the standard out, it just downloads it to a local file. And here's an example of a command, NDN drop retrieve, and where we have the NDN directory, and it will download that to the local machine.
Access control, security, and privacy are necessary features. An unauthorized device should not be able to gain access to the user's files in plain text. Each node generates a symmetric session key to encrypt its files. Access control is accomplished by restricting access to these session keys. In the example here, Alice's laptop gets a file for the first time from Alice's phone. The laptop now needs the session key to decrypt it. The laptop sends an interest for the session key, signed with its private key. The phone needs to know the laptop is indeed the laptop and is one of Alice's devices. It verifies the interest by requesting the laptop's certificate, which is the laptop's public key, signed by Alice, who is the trust anchor. The phone now verified the laptop's identity and its authority to view the file. The phone returns the session key, encrypted with the laptop's public key, so no one else can decrypt it.
NDN Drop needs to be able to provide confidentiality for its users, and does this through encryption and decryption. First, the symmetric key pair is given to both NDN Drop list and crypto, where one key encrypts the files before publishing, and then with NDN Drop retrieve, anyone can actually retrieve the files. And then, however, to provide the confidentiality, if someone stranger downloads your files, they don't have the other key to decrypt the file. And this is where crypto comes in. You give it the other key from the symmetric key pair, and it decrypts the files. In this case, list.txt.
There are many benefits of using NDN for this one-hop file sharing system. For one is we don't have to deal with any IP address management, as you could just download the files by name. In addition, security comes easy with schematized trust. NDN has built-in trust anchors, sign interests, and certificates, which makes verifying authenticity and ensuring privacy and confidentiality to be done simply. And the most obvious benefit, I would think, is that naming data translates really well for this application. If you have a local file with your dog, you can just host that local file to your NDN drop, and it's really easy to see where that file is and make sense of it. And finally, neighbor discovery becomes really simple with NDN thanks to broadcasting.